Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Brent Venables' connections to Kansas State continue to this day. Allison Williams.
And Brent Venables grew up in Kansas. He got his start as a linebacker and a coach with K-State under legendary head coach Bill Snyder. He reached out to Snyder prior to last week's game, and after the win, Bill Snyder texted him congratulations, and he followed it up with go get number 4, but that would be today against these Wildcats. So Snyder was quick to respond, just not against us. Yes, the 82-year-old does text, but he also still communicates the old-fashioned way. He sent Venables a handwritten note of congratulations this week as well. And now Venables, as the head coach here, hopes to bring that same discipline and toughness he learned at K-State to Oklahoma.
We will see how that goes between his alma mater and his own team today. And Deuce Vaughn with the first carry. And it'll set up 2nd down and 5. So what does it look like being more aggressive for the former Nebraska Cornhusker Adrian Martinez?
It means when there's an opportunity to push the ball down the field, he's got to do it. Been very protective of the football. That's a positive, but he's got to make plays too.
Opening throw a little bit behind Phillip Brooks, and 3rd down and 5 for Kansas State, which struggled on 3rd down last week. And here is the starting lineup for the Wildcats. Cooper Beebe has been all over that offensive line in his history. That's the 5 who will protect Adrian Martinez. We told you about Deuce Vaughn and how good he is. Malik Knowles, a big play wide receiver and important in the kickoff return game as well. He's down at the very bottom of your screen, and it's Martinez on a quarterback run, and he does get behind Beebe for a 1st down. Here is the Oklahoma defense, which has given up just 30 points all year. Reggie Grimes is a sack machine. He's got 4 of them already this year. Deshaun White at the cheetah position, roaming free in that 2nd level, a dangerous player as well, and Billy Bowman, whose confidence has skyrocketed this year. Martinez to throw once again, right down the middle. Ben Sinnott, his tight end, into Oklahoma territory.
Well, you just asked me, what does it look like to be more aggressive? This is exactly it. These were the throws the first 3 weeks you did not see down the field, 10-plus yards. Put it on the money, trust the guys up front to protect you, and then when the opportunity is there, like his head coach Chris Klieman said, pull the trigger.
3rd down run was key for Martinez. Now here is Deuce Vaughn, who is taken down behind the line by Jeffrey Johnson, the Tulane transfer.
Tackle for loss.
It's number 33 on the year for Oklahoma in the tackle for loss department.
And it's 19 different Sooners. Looks like it's 2nd and 10, but it's right there at or behind the line of scrimmage. And they all do it at all 3 levels. Number 1 in America, tackles for loss. Number 1 in America, tackles for loss yardage as well.
Warner in motion. This is Vaughn, and there's another tackle for loss. Ethan Downs, the defensive end, for a loss of 2.
You know, this is not as pronounced pre-snap or post-snap movement as a season ago with Alex Grinch. But you're going to watch these defensive linemen. Part of the reason they're getting behind the line is it's that quick move after the snap. What you're seeing pre-snap is not what you're getting post-snap, and especially in this down and distance right here.
That's a deep unit. That's set up a 3rd and 12. Martinez feels the heat, gets out of the pocket, turns up field, and Martinez is hit at the 30 and keeps going forward. Let's see where the spot is. He is very close to the line to gain. Aguebu had him in pursuit, couldn't finish him.
This is exactly what they wanted from Adrian Martinez. Not only to throw it down the field when it's there, but when it's not, instead of taking a check down, right, instead of playing conservative, go. Put your body out there. A tremendous athlete that Coach Klieman's seen him do it in practice, and now he's doing it on the opening drive.
He's very happy with his practice reps and hoping to see this type of aggressiveness as he throws on the go. He's got Sinnott again, and Kansas State rapping on the door of the red zone.
And I think if you were Brent Venables and Ted Roof on the other side, you're sitting here going, who's number 9? because we watched that tape, right? Over 11,000 total yards. Brent Venables knows it up in Nebraska for Adrian Martinez. Just not been that guy through the first 3 weeks. What an encouraging sign for the Wildcats tonight.
Safety blitz coming, and that is White from the cheetah position from the third level to set up third down.
And this is how you have to tackle Deuce Vaughn. He is so shifty. You're going to see him right here. Here comes that cheetah on the prowl, and he attacks that hip. That's been the focus this week. Don't take that guy head on. You've got to leverage him from the side and bring him down.
Kansas State was 2 of 15 on third down last week. They're 2 for 2 on the opening drive. It's Martinez to throw. That is behind the line to gain for Warner, who is wrapped up by Davis. Now let's see where that spot is. They're going to spot him for a first down. Man, that is a generous spot.
Yeah, this is a wonderful job by Warner to come back. You'd expect it, right? His dad, the Hall of Famer, come back to the football. But that's a more than generous spot right there.
Under further review.
He's got him short, right? We do have Dean Blandino with us tonight. Mike Pereira was there for Washington State and Oregon. Our referee, Kevin Marr, with the call. Dean, what are you seeing?
Yeah, this is a good stop by replay. The forward progress spot after the receiver gains control. When does the defender initiate contact? That's the spot. Line of gain was the 17. Looks like the spot should be a yard back, the 18. A good replay here. It's not where he catches it. It's when he's first contacted. That's that progress spot.
Fantastic, Dean. Thank you very much.
And you can get frustrated with receivers at times for running short of the sticks. He's 3 yards past the sticks. The reason he catches that short is because Adrian hesitated. He actually looked to the right. If you watch that from the beginning, he's looking to his right, he's looking to his right. He comes back to Warner. If he throws that early, he gives Cade an opportunity to move the chains instead. This will be the first big decision of this game.
So if this is short, if it is 4th and 1, and we know Kansas State is very willing to go for it on 4th down, what do you like here?
Gosh, I like points. To be honest with you, I mean, that's just my conservative nature. But as Coach Kleiman said, they, like so many in college football, follow the analytics book.
All right, so here's the call from Kevin Marr.
Down and distance, time, left hash, all those old details.
After further review, the catch will stop short of the line to gain. It'll be 4th down on 18 yard line.
Great call, Dean. Thank you very much, and well done by the replay officials. Look, Chris Kleiman said we did everything right according to the analytics folks, but we didn't execute.
Yeah, they sent us a note and said, congratulations, all your decisions, we love them. Star plus, but your execution in those short yardage situations, unfortunately, a mess.
Well, they seem to like 7 more than 3, but 0 is an option as well.
And I get it. When you're playing in this building, you got to score touchdowns.
Vaughn split out. Martinez will run. He's got it and then some inside the 15 with a marker coming in late. In fact, 2 flags have been thrown.
Well, if you're going to run it, the +1 they call it, when you get the QB run game, that is just straight QB power. That is Colin Klein calling what he ran so often.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 2. Half the distance to the goal, automatic 1st down.
Yeah, Colin Klein said there is still some plays in the playbook, as that's on Agwebu, that Colin ran 10 years ago in his near Heisman season.
That one right there. And Bill Snyder, if you're watching it, you know that exact play call. And not a surprise on this opening drive to get Martinez comfortable. Get him some hit. Take that conservatism right out of him with contact.
Kansas State has been attacking. Here he is again. It's a touchdown for Martinez. What a response to last week by Adrian Martinez.
And if you're going to run QB run game and you're going to run power, then you need these big fellas to block down, and a terrific job, as you're going to see Ben Sinnott wrap around right there for the unblocked defender in the alley. Lots of those Sooners' eyes focused on Deuce Vaughn. And what an advantage. 4 times, 4 huge plays with his legs. That's paying off what his coaches asked of him this week, to be more aggressive.
2 weeks in a row now, Oklahoma's allowed an opening touchdown from the opposition. Nebraska last week only got one more score. We'll see if Kansas State does it again against the Sooners. Martinez is in first.
I can put you in.
Fox College Football, sponsored by Modelo, brewed for full-time fans with a fighting spirit, and by Discover. 10 years ago, Colin Klein scored a rushing touchdown in the fourth quarter against Oklahoma. The play call was QB 25 F Rumble O. And that was a pretty similar deal right there.
Yeah, I think you just flipped it to the even side, whether that's 24 or 26. And first-time play caller. And unlike a lot of these situations, one you're going to see here momentarily with Dylan Gabriel and Jeff Levy, those two, Colin Klein, Adrian Martinez, it's some catching up to do. Missed all of spring. It was really just training camp, so still figuring one another out. And that was one of their best offensive drives of the entire season.
Ty Zentner on the approach. Billy Bowman back to return. And Oklahoma will have it from the 25-yard line behind Dylan Gabriel from Mililani, Hawaii, as so many quarterbacks have been. 61% or so at UCF, and he protects the football as well as just about anybody. Jeff Levy is offensive coordinator in both places, here and there. Loves that about him. 7 touchdowns, no picks, facing a secondary that has 7 interceptions this year.
Some of the best touch in college football and ball handling as well. He is a magician in their run-pass option game.
Eric Gray, the tailback, gets drilled by Eli Huggins, the nose tackle for Kansas State. And here is the offensive line. Chris Murray, who Levy calls an animal at the right guard spot, one of the anchors of the offensive line. Marvin Mims Jr. has been a deep threat his entire time here at Oklahoma. And this opening pass goes to Gray out of the backfield for a Sooner first down against this 3 down front for Kansas State. We've called Huggins, and Udike Uzama has been fantastic rushing the quarterback. Then the linebacker spot, Khalid Duke, they might put him in a couple of tough scenarios tonight as Gray on the catch out of the backfield gets to the 40. And Josh Hayes, who's highlighted, made the stop along with a couple others. He's going to be key in that secondary as well, one and white.
The D-line is the strength. The second level is the most vulnerable, and you see Oklahoma attacking it early.
Gabriel flowing to the left, and that's dropped by Jalil Farouk. So it's 3rd down for the Sooners. What a scene this is in Norman. Big 12 opener. And Kansas State has been a major landmine for them. It's Mims in motion on 3rd and 6. Gabriel, and that was tipped incomplete. He wanted Mims. Tipped ball at the line by Kansas State and Anyudike Uzama, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, not only does he get home quite often, look at Felix battle through 2 guys here. He knows he's not going to get the sack, something he's been so good at over the last 2 seasons, but the awareness to put that big paw up in the air. Dylan's not the biggest guy, just about 5'10", 5'11". Get your hands up. Those are the little details. At Kansas State, why have they been so difficult for the Sooners? Details like that.
Brent Venables mentioned to Allison pregame about the special teams for Kansas State and how dangerous they can be. But Oklahoma has its own weapon to avoid that with Michael Turk as that goes through the end zone. And Kansas State will have it from the 20-yard line. For the first time in 9 games last week, Deuce Vaughn was kept under 100 yards. First time in 10 he didn't get into the end zone. He's got the ball for the visiting Wildcats when we come back. Let's take a look at our Ram Power Player, brought to you by Ram Trucks. Built to serve. It's the junior out of Round Rock, Texas, Deuce Vaughn.
And I don't know how many players we'll have this year that are 5'8", that we highlight in this capacity, but Deuce gets everything out of his ability. He catches it, he runs it, he blocks it as he did on that opening drive. Just a stud.
Deuce Vaughn on this carry. He was so frustrated last week because of the cramps that he had, Deuce Vaughn. He had to come out in portions of the third and fourth quarter. Didn't get to 100 yards.
Well, if you just get a body on a body, and that's what we're seeing on this opening drive, that first down run, this group up front last week, they couldn't do that against Tulane. All of the movement last week really got to them. Right now, they are winning at the point of attack.
Brooks in motion. Take the jet sweep action. It's a low throw, and it's plucked above the ground by Deuce Vaughn for a Kansas State first down.
Boy, and that one is all toughness from number 9. He's looking at nothing but 31 in his face. Does Deuce go down and dig this one out? I think he does. That ball moves. It looks like he regathers it. He's underneath it. I think that's a catch.
I don't think it ever even hit the ground as Martinez throws again, and he's right on the money. Sinnott has been really important so far, and he's dragging basically half of the Oklahoma defense into Sooner territory.
Wow. Wow. This is not what we have seen in the month of September from either of these teams, but welcome to Big 12 familiarity.
Isn't it amazing what a rivalry like this can do for the team that's on hard times coming in? It is Vaughn, and Deuce Vaughn pinballing for a first down into Broyles.
I mean, he runs right through. Look at this little guy. Look at the explosive and the powerful legs there to run right through Danny Stutzman. The guy's not missed a tackle this September, and he runs right through the inside linebacker.
Tough, strong, low to the ground runner. First down, Martinez takes Brooks to the 10, and Brooks wanders out of bounds. First and goal for Kansas State, and this car is humming right now.
Holy smokes, this stadium is stunned right now because you've not seen any of this. You'll see Brooks right on the little shallow cross, and a little rub concept with the running back there, Deuce Vaughn. He had either of them wide open, and once again, give some credit to the 5 guys up front on this drive. And actually the opening drive as well. It is that offensive line that is setting the table for both its quarterback to play its best football yet in Adrian Martinez, and Deuce Vaughn getting going too.
This has been the worst scoring offense in the Big 12, 3 weeks deep, but Kansas State threatening again, and now we have a timeout coming.
Great wind sprint from Chris Kleiman too.
Kansas State calls their first timeout of the half. Media timeout.
Chris Kleiman feeling it. Chris Kleiman, former defensive back. Great closing speed, Brock.
Check this out. I mean, run, Rich, run. Right here. Here's Coach Kleiman on the 30. Look at this. He's got to get a timeout. I got to get a timeout. I got to go. I got to go. I got to turn on the Jets. I'm saying 5-3, 5-40. I mean, maybe, look at, he gets right in the field of vision of that official. You got to do that.
And he ran right through it,
You
too.
don't stop.
Yeah.
You cannot stop.
9 first downs for Kansas State. Oklahoma's run 5 plays so far, total. Adrian Martinez picking his way. Almost looked like he wanted a pop pass. Instead, it's second down and goal.
It's the same design QB run. Colin Klein did not hesitate when we chatted with him this week. Going to have a little more QB run called? Yes. Yeah. There's going to be no question about it. That's how we got to get this group going, because it plays to the strengths of Adrian Martinez.
Second and goal. It's a throw, and it's Martinez on target for a touchdown, Kansas State, and Malik Knowles. Stunned silence in Norman.
6'3" on 5'11". Just get that big frame inside and show your number to the QB. This is just blocking out. Oklahoma sells out. Here comes Broyles. Here comes Stutzman. Here comes everybody. You actually saw Coe, the D lineman, drop off. They brought the house. Poise personified for Adrian Martinez to begin this game.
Chris Kleiman said, I didn't want to delve into why Adrian Martinez was being so conservative. Didn't want to put a negative thought in his head. There's been zero negative thought all first quarter. Kansas State in a big way by 14. Fox College Football is sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years. Kansas State's already run 12 plays in Oklahoma territory. The Sooners have had the ball for 69 seconds. And Sooner fans might be saying, here we go again against that team in purple from Manhattan.
Well, if Sooner fan was watching these Wildcats a week ago, they didn't see any of this for 60 minutes against Tulane. I mean, they had no point of that game where they dictated. And right now, their offense is dictating and humming.
Bowman back to receive. And it is Billy Bowman from across the 10. He gets to the 20. Bowman sheds one and is funneled outside by Savage, with a marker coming in as well. A little testiness on the sideline. Sincere Mason with some sincere jawing at the Sooners.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 9, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Back to the touchdown, Ron.
You know why Deuce was our Ram power player? Look at this guy. Watch him step up. You're going to see Broyles come. You're going to see Stutzman come. You're going to see Agwebu come. All of those guys come into all the gaps because they're sick and tired of Martinez running. But there's an advantage, man. Malcolm Gladwell, great book, David and Goliath. Use your what's perceived disadvantage of being 5'6" and use it to your advantage. Low man wins in pass protection. Low man wins running through the gaps. And Deuce Vaughn putting on a show in this first quarter.
We cited outliers in our meeting. I think that's the tipping point there on the whole catalog for you. First down for Oklahoma, and Gabriel, not a whole lot there. Eli Huggins tracked him down. It's a gain of 1.
Well, that's 2 plays from that big 60-year nose tackle. 24 years old, came back to school because he likes what's cooking in Manhattan, and that's 2 plays in 2 series. I think he broke his face mask.
Looks like it, and he's completely unfazed by the process. Another run, and not a whole lot there for Gray. And DK Uzama on the defensive line. And suddenly, 3rd down again for Oklahoma.
And look at him. He's talking to the umpire right now like, is something wrong with my face? Yeah, actually go get that face mask fixed. Go put a new tire. And you watch how quickly the equipment guys will take a look at that and try to figure out either A, new helmet, or B, screw on a new face mask.
Umpire Marlo Fitzgerald was like, that's not part of my job. 3rd down and 7 for Gabriel. He throws, and it's incomplete for Theo Weiss. And Kansas State gets a stop.
Wow.
Just the 7th 3-and-out this year in 4 games for Oklahoma.
Well, here you go. Here's the taste of adversity for Dylan, for Brent Venables, for the 80,000 in here that they have not felt. Yeah, Kent State was 0-0. It's kind of ugly for 29 minutes, but then they stepped on the gas. They have not seen this kind of adversity yet.
We've been here twice now. This is as quiet as we've heard it. Turk to punt. He averaged 51 plus last year. This one to the sideline, keeps it away from Brooks. Adrian Martinez early in the game. Whoa.
Yeah, he's running it. He's throwing it. He's 7 of 8. He's hitting these shots down the field right there on that opening drive. Here's a little QB run, little QB power down in the red zone. So effective when you can get +1, as they call it. When that QB can run it, and first touchdown reception of the year for Malik Knowles, you knew they were going to get that big body talent going as well. And when you're playing QB at a high level, you are a facilitator, getting everybody else involved. And then when your number's called, you eat. And that's exactly what he's done the first 10 minutes here.
He's leaning on the Oklahoma defense. Warner in motion. Martinez keeps it himself and gets sideswiped by White. Downstairs, Allison.
Oklahoma's DN coach Miguel Chavez trying to help his guys by really making them focus on their technique and fundamentals, talking about coming out of those hits, getting their hands inside. So by focusing on that, focusing on your job, you can inspire the defense around you and help the backers, and we can start to stop the run. And then I loved it, guys. He said this. He said, what we do isn't easy, but it's beautiful.
That's life advice right there. 2nd down and 6. Martinez sees the pressure and heaves it down the field. Jalen Redmond was bearing down on him and breathing on him, and it's 3rd and 6.
Well, once again, Oklahoma's answer, not surprisingly, is start to bring some people. When a QB is as comfortable in dictating the way that Adrian is, defensive-minded guys typically bring an extra defender, that time a 5th rusher, get into the face of Martinez, and now this crowd awakes.
Pressure here.
Discipline here.
They come with 5. Martinez dumps it off and too short, incomplete for Brooks. Trey Morrison was there on the coverage, and Oklahoma a much-needed stop.
And there's the attention to details, a little bit of man coverage, what you're going to expect to get in that bunch. Even if he catches it, that route is going to be short. A much better, to Allison's point, on the details and fundamentals on that possession defensively.
Marvin Mims back to receive the punt from Zentner. And it's a fair catch. And there's a flag down. Now this ball is loose and live. An Oklahoma player went diving for it. Brents is down there for Kansas State. I believe you're going to have interference with Mims. Echo Boydo was close to him first. Oklahoma got on it. That's Kanik, the linebacker, who ended up with the ball. Let's see as they sort this out. The ball was over Mims's head.
Catching interference. Kicking team, number 25. 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
That is a big call.
Yeah, and I think that's why Coach Kleiman is so upset. Echo Boydo is going to interfere. Their feet are almost going to hit. You can see 25 screaming in there, and he steps right on his toe. And that contact knocks Mims down, does not give him the ability to go catch the ball. Not a lot of hesitation there from the official.
With the contact, guaranteed you're going to get that call.
Yep. And those are the details that guy chomping on his gum knows. Right, those 15 yards, that real estate right now when you have this team reeling, can't do it.
Ball would have been at the 3. Instead, it's at the 30. And here is Marcus Major, who has 4 touchdowns this year, to set up a 2nd down. A big day in Lincoln last week. Gabriel loads up and throws near side. He has Weiss, and a 1st down for the Sooners.
There's a little sigh of relief as the chains get moving, and now you can continue, if you're Jeff Levy, to get that tempo going. Very soft cushion. Dillon Gabriel also may not be the biggest guy, but got tremendous field awareness and reads that cushion well.
Very familiar with Levy's system. He played in it at UCF. Gabriel to throw again. He's got Weiss again. All kinds of running room in clean air for a touchdown. Those new lights going to work out because Weiss came all the way across the field for a Sooner score of 56 yards. Now the crowd's having fun. Zach Schmidt's extra point is good. Doesn't look like 14's going to win it.
No, and Coach Kleiman knew this. This is just a deep over. You got post routes to the field, and it attracts all the eyes. You're dropping 8 into coverage here. But unfortunately, 2 run with that post route. It leaves a void. And as I said, if there's cushion, if there is green grass, Dillon Gabriel is going to throw a nice, tight spiral, a soft catchable ball. And Theo Weiss, in that case, is going to do the rest. K-State plays a lot of people in their secondary. They play a lot of personnel in a bunch of different spots. That was a little different group on the back end there coverage-wise and just did not communicate that route. And the arms crossed right there and the gum being chewed that was too easy. We have got to be able to pass that route off. That's not overly complicated. Mental error that Oklahoma takes advantage of.
That is the first scoring play. Fewer than 5 plays Kansas State has allowed this year. First scoring drive of that type, and this will set Kansas State up at the 25-yard line. Yeah, this Kansas State team has typically forced teams, and it hasn't been that tough of a schedule, though they lost to Tulane last week. First touchdown drive of 4 or fewer all year for Chris Kleiman's team.
Well, to Brent Venables' point about Chris and this program that Bill Snyder built, you got to go take the game from them. I mean, that stat right there is, hey, man, you may score on us, but you got to earn it. Right? We don't just give it. We don't bust coverages. We don't give you the football. You got to go take it from this team. A rare mental error there, and Brent's crew able to take advantage.
Is that a signal to smile? Vaughn is ripped backward. Man, Isaiah Coe.
No, that was a signal to grab whatever you can of Deuce Vaughn, as 94 does right there through penetration. Stutzman was there to clean it up as well. A little different energy in the building.
Like he was playing tetherball with it. Martinez loads up down this side into traffic, and it's batted away incomplete. Bowman had a read on it, and Knowles' contact pried it away. Third down.
That's a terrific play by the fifth-year senior. Malik Knowles, he saves an interception. He can see this ball is woefully inside. The fans don't like it. I think that's a bang-bang play.
Perfect timing, right?
That is one heads-up play from a receiver, and a QB's best friend on the other end as Bowman's about ready to pick it.
Here's that wall of sound in Norman. Play clock got down to zeros, and they're going to blow it dead. Jalen Redmond met Martinez, but a delay of game forthcoming. You see the frustration from his head coach.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Well, part of that delay is because QB O-line have to try to identify. Right, because Oklahoma started to open up the playbook in these third downs. This has been a disastrous situation. I would expect something conservative here because Oklahoma's so hard to figure out in this down and distance.
Martinez looked upfield. Now he runs. And he gets knocked down after a medium gain by Key Lawrence, the safety, and it is fourth down for the Wildcats.
You know, I like that right there. I like that little conversation with Ben Sinnott.
What?
Just communication. Don't panic. Just tell your guys around you what you want right there. That's experience. It's 40-some starts. Pretty good leadership.
Oh, Zentner got hit after he delivered the ball. There is no marker down. It was after he punted the ball, and Mims a fair catch. Zentner wants the flag. He's not getting it. It's well after the punt. So look, we told you about Kansas State and its success against Oklahoma recently. Since 2012, nobody has beaten Oklahoma more than the Wildcats.
You got to earn it. It's a team that doesn't quit. It's a team that loves the underdog nature of this matchup and of this game.
Fake the double reverse, and now Farouk on the run for a gain of about 4. It'll be second down.
More of that tempo immediately, just trying to, and I think that tempo affected some of that mental breakdown and communication on that last drive.
Kansas State went backward. Gray going forward for a first down. He's knocked down by Brents, the cornerback.
It's number 9, Braden Willis, leading the way, the unsung glue guy. Corner's going to have to make tackles tonight. Brent's a good one. Number 9 right here. Man, is he a good one for these Sooners.
He threw a touchdown last week against Nebraska, and here it goes his way at the 45. On that touchdown last week, by the way, Braden Willis, he threw a terrible ball evidently in camp.
Oh, okay.
In camp. He threw a great one last week, Brian. I'm going to give him his trophy. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
But they kept it in the playbook because he's a high school quarterback, and so they figured he would knock it down, and he did.
And they love him.
See, that was kind in the end. Second down, throw, batted away, and incomplete. That is Brents on the coverage of Mims, and it's third down.
And Julius Brents, you're going to be in these moments a lot tonight. A ton of moment of truth because you're going to be in one-on-ones. And that's a ball that Mims usually goes up and gets. Back of that jersey's being tugged just a little bit. But 6'4", long arms, a physical presence. Recovering in one-on-one will be key tonight for these Wildcats.
Boydo now at the bottom against Mims. Gabriel looks that direction. He wants Mims again, and it's incomplete. He was throwing either for Stoops or Mims. It was Stoops, and it's fourth down.
Oh, and that is one you don't see much. This is such a beautiful route from Drake Stoops. A little slant and go, right? Third down, can run slant. Oh, my goodness, does he get Kobe Savage. And as a QB, Dylan, all you've got to do right there is just put that familiar air. Drake knows it. That was 6. That is not a point where you need to be fine, that you need to put it on him. Just put some air on the ball. Drake's going to run that down for a touchdown.
Saw the way he ran through it, the frustration for Stoops. At the end of the first quarter, it is Brooks on the fair catch, and he receives it at the 4.
That's the end of the first quarter.
Wild first quarter in Norman. Upon nightfall in Oklahoma, the Wildcats have a 7-point lead. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Bunch of luminaries here for the dedication of the statue of the Selman brothers tonight. Barry Switzer, whose teams finished 3 times #1 in the country when he was coaching here. Keith Jackson, the great tight end from the 1980s, among so many others here tonight. Oklahoma with the miss from Gabriel to Stoops. Kansas State pinned all the way back around the 5 after the fair catch. They turn to Deuce Vaughn, but first whistles to open the second quarter.
False start. Offense number 85. Half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
Just what you want to get closer to that crimson section behind you.
That's Cade Warner. He was coming down to block the safety, right? Just to try to get a hat on a hat. Did a good job of it on the opening drives for Deuce Vaughn and Adrian Martinez. Just an early start there.
Back to Vaughn, little hesitation. He's closed off by Jaden Davis. Lawrence helped out, and it's second down.
See a little different disposition of these Sooner defenders, don't you?
Angrier.
Yes. Instead of just receiving the contact and being on the end of that QB run game and those K-State linemen, they are the ones delivering the blow.
Martinez from the end zone has Vaughn, and Deuce Vaughn gets them out of the shadow of that goalpost into Davis again, and it's third down.
It's a good thing it's 3rd and 6, because 3rd and 7 plus, 1 for 19 on the season for Kansas State.
Third and 6. Here comes Davis. Martinez signaling and throwing down the field for Warner, who had it on his mitts, but couldn't finish the catch with White next to him. Wow.
That is a corner blitz that's coming at you, and you're going to see it, and Adrian feels it. And now here's the difference. A week ago, he just threw this away. A week ago, he didn't make this play. He didn't throw it down the field and give his guys an opportunity, and that is one. Difficult catch? Absolutely. Is the cheetah right in the grill of Cade Warner? Yes, Deshaun White was, but that's a good sign of giving your guys an opportunity down the field aggressively.
3 catchable passes not brought in by Kansas State so far. Marvin Mims, a fair catch, and that's a good punt by Zentner of 54 yards. Allison talked about it earlier, the ties of Brent Venables to Kansas State. From right in the middle of the state, Salina, Kansas, 1989, Salina South High School. We found his yearbook. He's a linebacker at Kansas State after a transfer from Garden City Community College. He was a grad assistant that second year, big job. He was the punt return guy. He built the whole punt coverage situation. Linebacker coach, defensive running game coordinator, and he talked so fondly of his time with Bill Snyder and how fatherly, essentially, adding a word of our own, paraphrasing how fatherly Bill Snyder was to him.
And details, details, details.
The toss here is major, and the detail I love the most was Bill Snyder walking around practice with a dictaphone and essentially creating his plan for his coaches the next day.
That's right.
He'd walk in with page after page of his own notes that he verbalized into that dictaphone.
That's right. And actually compared it to Dabo Swinney in that way, that both those two like-minded in that way.
Major on the run. It'll be 3rd down and a couple.
Interesting area of the field here. An opportunity where you in this down and distance can get man-to-man if you want to be aggressive. Especially with that guy, such a home run hitter, Marvin Mims.
On 3rd and 3, it's a run for Major, and it takes Green to spike him down right at midfield.
Or you got 5-on-5 in the box, and you just say, nope, we're going to get this conversion. We're going to keep this drive and this tempo going.
Savage was up at the line. Gabriel, a deep ball right on the money for Mims.
Oh my, Omar Daniels, you are on an island, and this is the anatomy of a deep ball. That's what was so shocking about that miss to Drake Stoops, because when receivers are leaving those defenders, Dylan Gabriel, man, he puts that kind of air, that kind of arc, that kind of spiral right on the 1-7.
You mentioned Jeff Blake during the week for a comparison to that deep ball.
Just touch, man. Just get it up and get that point down and give your receivers who run by people an opportunity to finish for you.
Two scoring drives, a total of 2 minutes for Oklahoma, and downstairs, Allison Williams.
You never know how far you can throw it unless you air it out from time to time. That's what Dylan Gabriel told me about throwing the deep ball. It's something he is always focused on having in his skill set, and it's about consistent repetition for him. From a young age, he's been playing ball year in and year out. He's never had any extended time off, so he's always been able to keep his timing and his touch on that deep ball. And he said the key, guys, is to make sure you leave it with plenty of air for those receivers to adjust.
Oh, there was a lot of air on that puppy he just threw to Mims. Knowles on the return for Kansas State, and Malik Knowles, who has 3 career kickoff returns for a touchdown, breaks a tackle into Sooner territory.
Wow. I call him the college equivalent of Cordero Patterson. Remember Cordero at Tennessee and in the NFL? Just did this, same size, totally just difference makers. You don't normally see 6'3", 200-pound returners, but he's taken 4 of these to the house. He leaves Oklahoma reaching for air, and my goodness gracious, after all that air on that touchdown that Gabriel put on that touchdown pass, Sucked a little air out of here, energy out of here with a huge kickoff return.
Big play by Schmidt there, the kicker, to get a piece of him and slow him down. Short field for Kansas State. Deuce Vaughn running horizontally. And he runs into White and Graham and Guebu as well. No gain. Last 3 drives for K-State, negative yards.
Well, backed up on the previous one makes it so difficult. We saw Oklahoma start to get more aggressive, bringing 5, bringing 6. Favorable field position here if you want to be aggressive. This is usually the area of the field between the 40s. Just like Gabriel, you can take a shot.
They'll move to tight ends, Wheeler and Sinnott. This is Vaughn picking his way. Deuce Vaughn, man, just drops the shoulder and drives hard like a tank.
And he just hides so patiently. That time behind the all-conference member, Cooper Beebe, the left guard, wraps around, and he has such an ability. Look at him. I mean, he hides behind those guys, and defenders can't see him. That is why you got to run blitz. That's why you got to send people at him, because if you're sitting there watching, you're not finding him, and he's running through you.
Ted Roof said that in our meeting. You should lose him sometimes. He wiggles behind guys, and here he comes. 3rd and 2. It's Vaughn again, sneaking through for a first down at the 25.
And that was a lesson that Ted Roof also said, that Danny Stutzman, the middle linebacker, didn't follow. You cannot take this guy head on. You can't do it. In the gap, 28 linebackers there to make a tackle. He doesn't. Royals has to finish on the back end of it.
Deuce Vaughn again in space. He was a soccer player growing up and learned that 1v1 stuff in the soccer game. There's a lot less contact. The last play would have been a yellow card. But it's 2nd down and 9 after a gain of 1.
I love the coaching points from a veteran D coordinator when tackling Deuce Vaughn. You can't look him in the eye. You can't, or he's going to do what he just did on that previous play, make you look silly. You got to make him go one way, and then you got to leverage and tackle him with the hip. And what a response here from K-State.
He comes off. DJ Giddens, the freshman, is on. He's going to block for Martinez. And Martinez to the outside. Gillum, the center, got over there to create a lane, and it's 3rd down.
He sure did. The former walk-on did a beautiful job coming out, kicking out on Graham, the corner. This offensive line heard some messaging this week, I'm sure, as well. Right, with Deuce Vaughn, Adrian Martinez, the weaponry they have, it starts with the guys up front setting the tone. And on those 2 successful drives, they certainly have, and they are right now.
Martinez faked a quick pitch and now tries to rumble forward into Stutzman, and he does have the first down. That's a tough run from Martinez.
And that's another design, this time out of empty. So you take some defenders out of there, but it's the same power concept. You're going to pull the guard around, and look at the buddy.
That's Panzer.
Come on, I got you. I'll carry you to that first down.
From the 14, long throw, Martinez to Brooks, who got his way around Bowman. 2nd down for Kansas State. Man, this tape looks totally different than Adrian Martinez last week, doesn't it?
He was averaging 115 passing yards a game coming into this game, and about 50 on the ground. I mean, he just played not to lose. Tonight, he's playing fearless.
We know he's a tough guy. He played with a broken jaw last year. Vaughn back in on 2nd and 8. Martinez felt downs. Martinez on the run, and he slides about a yard short. Guebu wrapped him up. It's 3rd down and 1.
Almost an in-between slide, right? He didn't know whether or not to go head first. Didn't necessarily go totally feet first. It was almost kind of a side slide here. Because of that, sets up a favorable 3rd and short. It's been QB run. I mean, that's what they have done here.
It is on a sneak. Did he have the leg drive? It looks like he's short. This is 4th down by about half a yard. Now what?
Well, that is a long distance because that was a positive play. He felt the push of the line, fell forward. But that was really like almost 2 yards, and now puts it in a much closer situation.
Chris Kleiman said measure it, measure it, measure it, and he's not going to get that measurement.
No, and he may have to take a timeout here. You hate to do that and burn 2 of them and a tie game, but I think that's the right call to get everybody on the same page.
Said you won't measure that one. Why won't you measure it? Then he stopped himself to call a timeout. Then he wore him out again.
You're a good lip reader.
It's essential to watch sporting events. Tie ball game. 4th and half a yard for Kansas State when we come back.
Want to stay focused on the action? Just tell Siri, turn on Do Not Disturb.
4th down and 1 for Kansas State. What goes into this decision?
Well, you got to go. You didn't come here, as Chris Kleiman told us this week, thinking you're going to win this game, scoring 20 points. I like the aggressiveness. And speaking of getting rid of scar tissue, 3 4th and 1s a week ago. 4th and 1, 4th and 1, 4th and 2 you didn't get. I like this call.
You're going to ask your quarterback to be aggressive. Your play calling has to be too. Here's Martinez. His 12th run of the game is a 1st down plunge.
Look at those big bodies. Look at your guard and center, Panzer, BB, Gillum. Look at these 3 right in the middle. You've got to win here. You have to create movement so the QB can feel it. And as a quarterback, that is a learned trait, a learned experience. You feel, kind of like blocking out in basketball, you feel where you can nudge yourself in. If those guys up front do their job, that's gold star effort.
40-plus games at Nebraska will get you that feel for Martinez. 1st down and goal. It's another run, and he cartwheels in. Touchdown.
Adrian Martinez for the 3-yard Kansas City.
That is a hand plant. Watch the strength and balance of Adrian Martinez right here. Through contact to put that left hand on the ground and go tumble in. That's a running back playing quarterback tonight. And a tremendous coaching adjustment this week to ignite his abilities.
You said during the week to me that playing on the road might help him.
No question about it. It just takes some of the pressure off. You're the 2-touchdown underdog. You're the one everyone's talking bad about. You're the one the head coach is even asking you to let it rip. So you get to come into this place and quiet him. No better feeling for a quarterback.
Saw the half smile crack across his face.
But that's about it. That poised face is what we've seen from warm-ups all the way through here, Jason. The determination.
Tennant for the extra point, and that's good. Kansas State completely undaunted here in Norman. Once again, a quarterback's confidence skyrocketing in front of us here in Oklahoma.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, Arkansas battles Texas A&M at Jerry World. Texas and Texas Tech needed overtime in Lubbock, and third-ranked Ohio State opens up Big Ten play against Wisconsin. We'll have it all for you at the half. Right now, Jason and Brock, back to you.
Mike, thank you. I'm sure highlights of that Oregon-Washington State game that finished just before our game kicked off.
Did it finish?
It just finished, actually. About 8 to go in the second quarter here. Kansas State back on the board with a touchdown from Martinez, and in close quarters downstairs, Allison Williams.
Yeah, Jason, and I know you guys can hear how it gets a little quieter here from a volume perspective after Kansas State scores, but the thing that it really does that you notice on the sidelines is it kind of quiets down the fans that are directly behind the K-State bench. I mean, they're an arm's length away, and they're letting these guys hear it all game. So when they score and they can get up, it kind of gives these guys a break from the chirping because there's a lot of direct interaction right there on these sidelines. It's about as tight as you'll find in college football down here.
And look, it's very loud. Those 2 people we just saw are very loud. They snuck a couple K-State fans behind the bench, which is nice to see for those guys. Here's Farouk. He got around Boydo and still lost a half yard.
It's a big possession here. Both teams throwing some haymakers. Both teams done some things in special teams, explosive plays. This is a drive. If you're Dillon Gabriel, you got to get that first down. That's been the difference with their tempo.
It is Major to the left, and Major hit by Smith and out of bounds. It's third down. Dillon Gabriel came in 7 touchdowns, no picks. He's got 2 touchdowns and no picks tonight. So good with the football. So good in that mesh.
And he's looking at the sidelines right now, and he's looking at this. He's looking at those numbers as the sidelines is. What kind of coverage you're getting here. It looks to be man-to-man. They're getting that tight bunch. Now they go to zone.
There's Willis, and it's Mims, and it's Mims. Breaking a tackle. Mims off a block from Farouk into Kansas State territory.
Yeah, that is just a flat-out mismatch. That's going to be Mims on the little slant route here on a linebacker, a backup Purnell in the game. And you're just not going to win in space against number 17. I don't know if anybody one-on-one in this conference can cover him in space, but certainly not a backup linebacker.
A former safety, but he was caught flat-footed. And it's first down for Oklahoma. Gabriel down the sideline. Let him rip, and Farouk undercut inside the 25 by Boydo.
Once again, you're just in space picking on linebackers. It's what this scheme likes to do. And that time, Austin Moore is trying to come up into the flat. The wheel goes right behind him, as does that whistling spiral.
Major squeezes through. He's inside the 20. And Oklahoma with 4 and change to go on a gain of 5.
And this is the response you wanted. All right, this is called earning it. Not just one big home run, one big shot, but you got to take what they give you and take advantage of the matchups you're creating.
Brent Venables says he likes strain. He likes to have to push. He likes scars sometimes. And Oklahoma has needed to battle here in the first half. Gabriel to the sideline. He's got Mims, who went crashing down. Nicely done by Savage. A big hitter that Joe Klanderman loves, their defensive coordinator.
Well, these safeties will come up and hit you. And that's part of the reason they went to this scheme. Easier to find guys at that third level that'll come down and finish and hit.
3rd and 2. It is Gray through the car wash for a yard. Jalen Pickle crashed into him, and it's 4th down and 1.
No question what you're going to do here.
Gabriel to the line. Willis moved. That's a false start on the senior tight end.
False start. Offense number 9. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Yeah, it was Willis. It was obvious, but Willis flinches because big right tackle Wanye Morris actually flinches first. You see that? He's playing off that reaction. He knows he's got to come down and block. Called it on number 9. Both he and Wanye trying to get started early.
So instead of going for it and trying to tie the game, it will be Schmidt from 36 yards away. An uneven day for college football kickers so far. And we've got a marker coming in. And Smiles on the Kansas State sideline.
Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
It's the other tackle, Anton Harrison.
Yeah, he flips over in field goal block to the right side of it. Self-inflicted errors, the little things that this team on the other side beats you because of. That's what he's going to write on his notes right there.
.41 yards from the hash mark for Schmidt. And this field goal is good. You get half the light display for the field goal than you got for the touchdown, but they still want to use them. It has been a rather crazy train so far in the first half here in Norman. 21-17. Fox College Football is sponsored by Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. And by Cadillac. Be iconic. The Selman brothers from Eufaula, Oklahoma. Tremendous family. One of the first families of Oklahoma football, came essentially from nothing as you read about their story and became just this juggernaut family. All-Americans, all three of them getting their statue here in Norman.
That is incredible. All-American, 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 one family. Building such a foundation, and what an honor to have all three of them represented with those statues.
Oklahoma does history just about as well as anybody around the country. Statues and posters and everything that goes along with it. Next week, start Saturday strong with Big Noon Saturday on Fox, off in Iowa City. 4th-ranked Michigan against the Iowa Hawkeyes. It all starts with Big Noon kickoff live from there in Iowa City, 10 a.m. Eastern time. And then the Michigan Wolverines on the road. They've had trouble there night side before. Can they do it during the day after they ran into a little bit of a Maryland buzzsaw for a while today?
No question about it. Look at that focus on the rush game. 25 between your two best players, and Adrian, 13 carries in the first half.
Martinez rolling to the right, throwing across the way, and he's got Brooks, who breaks the tackle and skates out of bounds. It's a gain of 19.
I love that call. Colin Klein is in the same rhythm up in the booth as his quarterback is here. Been a lot of early run game. You're expecting it. You see the commitment there, and then just get out on the other side. Right? Just get your quarterback going. Get him comfortable. He had such a struggle on those throws, 10+ down the field. Different story tonight.
Deuce Vaughn skittering outside. Man, hard cut. He got pile driven down eventually by Lawrence, but man, Woody Washington got left in his dust.
I mean, I know you don't want to tackle him head up. How do you get a shot on this guy? He is a 5'5" gyro ball. Goodbye.
Don't you see the soccer, though, in it?
You do.
In the 1v1 there?
No question about it. You can imagine a ball right on his foot.
Martinez climbing the pocket, feels the pressure from behind. It was White. Martinez got a block from Warner and finds his way out of bounds. Stutzman got in there, but didn't really have a chance at him, and it's second down.
And I know this sounds very redundant, but these were the plays you were not seeing through the first 3 weeks. They were in practice. Chris Kleiman said, hey, listen, we saw it all August. Adrian can go, he can run, he can make plays. So to finally let the horse out of the stable tonight has been awesome.
That is on target for a first down to Knowles. I love watching Deuce Vaughn getting ready to pass block, by the way. He is looking for somebody to connect with.
To hunt up. Played with some amazing ones. Edgerrin James was that way. Any Miami Hurricane, Clinton Portis, they love to run.
Really?
But they love even more to do exactly what you just said. Hunt up those blitzers. Oh, you think you're going to come lay out our quarterback? I'm going to sneak behind the guard or tackle, and then I'm going to deliver the blow. You're right. That time, even the linebacker that was coming said, nah, I'm good.
Just an exceptional talent who stayed at K-State to build something here. Martinez had Downs coming after him, and it's incomplete. Second down. Downstairs, Allison.
I'm with you guys. Vaughn is so fun to watch in pass protection, and when I talked to Adrian Martinez about his running back during the week, that was one of the first things he brought up. He said he takes so much pride as a blocker, and you watch him at field level, and you can see he is so undersized. I mean, he's given up 50, 60 pounds to these linebackers, and he still meets them head on. It's just awesome to watch.
Low man wins, and he is low to the ground.
The C loves it. Second down. On the run. Right up the zipper. Taking contact and whirling for a first down.
Well, this is what you were not seeing in the first 3 weeks. I mean, watch him. He hides behind everybody, but you were not seeing these Oklahoma defenders driven backwards. #1 in the country in tackles for loss, and they are the ones going the other way.
After 22, he's crushed by Bowman, and it's second down coming up.
My gosh, he just hides once again. It's hide and seek.
It is.
I'd hate to play that guy in hide and seek, too. Can't find him. He's just hid right behind Cooper Beebe. He's done this a half dozen times. And do you know how much patience and arrogance athletically it takes to do that with bodies flying all around you? Incredible.
He has said before he can feel defenders coming upon him. He just senses where they are. It is Vaughn, and that was too hot to handle. And Martinez knows it.
Yep. You've got to come after him here, don't you, Brent Venables? This crowd, 3rd and 4, don't you have to be aggressive? The more aggressive you've been, typically the better for this defense.
Isn't that what they're built on? A lot of 3rd down packages. They feed Vaughn, and Deuce Vaughn has just a couple of yards. It'll be 4th down, and it looks like Kansas State, who will give up the ball after the half, will take the 3. Will they? They're letting the clock run. So that's my piece of evidence. You still skeptical?
No, but that was a pretty conservative call, to be honest with you.
Yep. Especially considering what Kleiman told us about not winning here 20-17, 20-14.
Kansas State has called their final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
And Oklahoma takes that as a win. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary, sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years.
Adrian Martinez was averaging 115 passing yards a game. The rushing we've documented, I think, fairly well throughout. Time of possession, not a surprise. Oklahoma has not had the ball much this season. As a matter, they've made so many big plays. What's not in there, some of the hidden yards in the special teams phase, both punting for Oklahoma and kickoff returning, obviously, with Knowles.
Flipped the field that last time. Coming up at the half, stay tuned for Mike Hill, Emmanuel Acho, Chris Peterson in the State Farm halftime show. There you see the stories they'll be covering. And Kansas State's upset bid is on the docket as well. Tennant from 23. And Kansas State has a 7-point lead on the road in Norman at halftime. Tell you what, this series has been tough for the Sooners in a big way. To the studio and Mike Hill and the guys. State Farm halftime report. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Time now for a team comparison, sponsored by Modelo. Root for full-time fans with a fighting spirit. Tell you what, Kansas State, 30 rush attempts combined from Deuce Vaughn and their quarterback, Adrian Martinez. Jason Benetti, Brock Heward, Allison Williams. Did you have 24 points in the first half for Kansas State?
No, they had 10 last week against Tulane, so I absolutely did not. But time now for our second half connection, sponsored by AT&T Business. AT&T 5G fast, reliable, secure. And it was the run game that was both of those things. It was QB run right from the start. I love that plan from Colin Klein. 4 rushes on that opening drive, many of them designed QB calls. Adrian was part running back, part receiver, and man, was Deuce Vaughn putting on a show. He just likes playing against these guys. He loves running up the middle. He loves catching it. He loves blocking. I don't know what it is about these two teams, Jason, because there's different names on the back of the jersey. But when these two teams get together, just stylistically, we get great entertainment like this.
We really do. Kansas State has come back from double-figure deficits a couple of times recently to beat Oklahoma. They're going to try to hold off the Sooners in this second half. And downstairs to Allison Williams.
Brent Venables will tell you the opening drive of the second half is the most important of the ballgame, but he didn't want to talk about that tonight and his offense because he was so frustrated with the way his defense played. He said our leverage was terrible, our tackling was terrible. It was all wrong in the first half. He said we have to get our physicality and our attitude right here in the second half.
What does he mean by leverage, Brock?
Yeah, he just means their eyes, right? Their eyes and their leverage, how they're going to contain the run game, how they're going to play Deuce Vaughn. They know, right? They talked about it. Got to make him go one way. Can't tackle him head up.
Gray on the run. Eric Gray's best run. He hurdles and gets knocked down by Hayes after a gain of 11.
I kind of wish I could have been in that locker room.
You do?
Yes. See how much spit was flying.
Yeah, there's some brimstone there. Brent Venables, an intense customer, and they are running like it right out of the break. Hayes again had to wrangle Gray.
Well, look at the big right guard here. Chris Murray, look at the push. Eli Huggins in that first half at times took plays over. You know, he made some plays. He changed the line of scrimmage. That time, Chris Murray says, Big Eli. I'm going to get a piece of you, and there's a piece of sod.
Yeah.
In Mr. Gray's helmet.
Replace your divots. Anton Harrison is coming off. Brent Venables got to like that, right? Get a little of the turf in your helmet. First down run again. Gray going parallel this time, and he is doused. Hayes got him by the leg. Brent completed the play. Listen to this. Dylan Gabriel to throw on the check down, and he has Gray whirling and breaking 2 tackles. That was nifty from Eric Gray, who came out of the shadows last year and now to the forefront.
Yeah, he said to Julius Brands, okay, when I'm going laterally, advantage you. When I'm coming right at you, I'm going to put you in the spin cycle and make you miss.
Give him some ground, and he whistles it out to Gray with a marker down, and Gray will slow to start, and he's out of bounds. We'll see what the flag is.
Yeah, it's going to be a hold on Felix and Udike Uzama.
Holding offense number 56. 10-yard penalty. First down.
We talked about Chris Murray on that opening run drive. He's an awesome guard, super physical, but this is a difficult matchup. He's pulling around in this protection scheme in a one-on-one with the best pass rusher, and he just gets too high. He's got to hit those hand placement down. You start reaching around the neck, you throw people to the ground. That Mauler loves to mix it up in a phone booth. Out in space there, a pretty critical penalty.
On the Big 12 Defensive Lineman of the Year last year, and Udike Uzama. First and 20, Farouk switching back on the snap, and Farouk gets some of the penalty yardage back.
I like this opening drive.
You do?
I do, because the defensive coordinator, there's no question Jeff Levy heard that same messaging, and what have they done? Come out, run, run, run. There's Jeff right in the middle. He is a run-first guy.
There is another run. He's not afraid to call the same play if it's working, but Oklahoma just hasn't run very many plays so far tonight.
Nope, they've hit a couple home runs, which is what they do. It's run and then take those shots down the field. That almost felt like a call you make. And maybe this one, too. Make it 4-down territory.
Major in motion. He's got the catch, and he's tracked down by Drake Cheatham. Beautiful play in space, and a big break is over on the sideline. Harrison's over there defending his guy. Mott, the defensive lineman for K-State. Willis comes out showing a bicep. Look, both coaches said there aren't a whole lot of guys who are familiar with this rivalry, you know, blah, blah. Yeah, they feel it.
Oh, they know.
They feel it.
There's no question. And Willis drove Mott into the boundary, that tight boundary where there's not room for Allison to get behind the teams. Tempers flare, but I like no calls. Right, let these guys play. Sort it out. No penalties.
from 45. That has enough. Mix it up a little bit on a Saturday night in Norman. Fox College Football is sponsored by Honda, the power of dreams, and by Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Schooner cruising along. Oklahoma had to settle for a field goal, and Kansas State will get the ball back after a stop on the Sooners' opening drive.
I also answered your question poorly earlier about leverage. Yeah. And we're going to get to see it here on this kickoff return. You're going to get to see it on these drives. Right? Leverage is also not one guy trying to be the end result of it, but defeat the blocks before they get to you and get more bodies to the football.
This leads to the 25-yard line. Look, Oklahoma's defense had allowed a grand total of 30 points on the season coming in, and they just have not gotten to Adrian Martinez.
You know what's very difficult to stop? And any D coordinator will tell you this and has for the last 50 years. A QB that can run. The X factor that is. And they felt it a little bit with Kent State, but nothing like the called run game tonight that they have faced. The +1 in the run game that comes with a quarterback like Adrian Martinez willing to run it between the tackles.
Brooks in motion. And it's Martinez keeping for a yard, and that's it. 2nd and 9. Why is that so difficult?
Because you gain an extra blocker, right? The defenses love to put more guys around the line of scrimmage, that extra defender, be it a safety or be it from a front or a stunt, to gain an extra hat, to gain an extra number. When you've got a QB running it, those numbers become even, which means if you get sticky on your blocks, you create opportunities as the Wildcats have for Vaughn and Martinez.
2nd and 9, that's batted in the air. Vaughn let it go to the ground. Jalen Redmond swatted it, and it's 3rd down and 9.
Ooh, and this was going to be open down the field as well. Malik Knowles was coming open on a deep in cut here. If Jalen does not get his hands up to knock it down, Knowles was coming right behind Broyles for that completion.
They've mostly succeeded running it on 3rd down. This is Martinez flushed out of the pocket, throwing across his body for Knowles.
How good is that? Crowd is erupting. 3rd down. Haven't been good on it over this season, and especially last week. Eyes downfield, eyes downfield, eyes downfield. No, right where that line of scrimmage is. A play like that, he's not made all of September, and in a moment when the stadium's erupting, Martinez delivers.
Trouble for the offensive line. Cooper Beebe is down for the Wildcats. Their guard. Fox College Football is sponsored by Wendy's Pretzel Bacon Pub Cheeseburger. It's back. And by Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem. Most recent national title for Oklahoma, 2000. They hope they have a college football playoff team this year, but Kansas State has this funny way of getting in the way.
Because they don't give you anything. Brent Venables knows it. He coached there for a bunch of years. On how the foundation of this program is built. No sacks tonight, just 2 tackles for loss. And not a takeaway yet for these Sooners.
After the conversion to Knowles, Deuce Vaughn taking his time. Danny Stutzman embraced him down on a gain of 1, and downstairs to Allison.
Well, I talked to Chris Kleiman about the night his quarterback has had so far, and he said with the biggest smile, I am just so proud of Adrian Martinez. We asked him to be aggressive. We asked him to go out there and cut it loose, and he has. He's such a good football player, but now he's finally putting it on display for everybody to see. And you know the guys, that decision to go for it on 4th and 1 midway through the second, I thought it was interesting. He said part of it was an opportunity to take this crowd out of the game.
Wow, thinking about the crowd. That's good stuff, Allison. Martinez play action. He sets to launch down the field into double coverage, and it's knocked away. Deshaun White on Warner, and it's 3rd down and 9.
Boy, we have seen this a couple times, and you see Cade right there. These were the shots not coming his way this season. That's the cheetah right in his grill. I mean, you can't cover it any better. And it's a distraction drill. I mean, it's so hard for those receivers to play through that contact. But Martinez, once again, giving his buddies on the other end an opportunity.
Quick set. He got hit as he threw by Redmond again. And that pass is incomplete. Jalen Redmond has absolutely doused play after play.
Yeah, this is a good little adjustment, too. Oklahoma walks that linebacker against a backup guard, right? Walks him into that gap. He bounces around. That frees up Redmond to take that shot on the quarterback and create the errant throw.
Martinez hasn't taken very many hits tonight. That was a direct hit from Jalen Redmond. Mims back to receive for Oklahoma. And he waves for a fair catch at the 15-yard line. Dylan Gabriel, the anatomy of the deep ball, Brock.
I think he throws one of the best deep balls in the game. It starts with that air on it, that arc. Look at that. Launch angle, I don't know, 40 degrees, but a ton of air up on that ball. Then it's balance. Young QBs, when you're throwing that deep ball, the better your balance, the better chance down the field, and then ultimately the catchability. I said to you, Jeff Blake back in my day was the best. That ball went straight up to the moon, like Russell Wilson too, and then the tip comes downhill. It's easier to catch rather than spinning or floating away on you. Gabriel is teaching tape for the anatomy of the deep ball.
Allison talking earlier about Dylan Gabriel mentioning that his constant ability to play keeps his timing. The only injury they've seen him have was that clavicle last year at UCF. And this run for Gray is a gash for Oklahoma across the 40-yard line.
Oh, this is just running right at you, running right at your middle linebacker, Daniel Green. Just a collision in the middle. A concerted effort in this second half to come out and establish the run. The home runs, they can come off play action from that run game.
Another one for Gray. Oh, man, did he take the contact and keep his feet? What a run, a rugged run by Gray.
Well, this young man got in the weight room this offseason. He said, I needed to sustain in this conference and being every down back 15 more pounds of strength. He put it on, and it was on display right there.
Running behind Kennedy Brooks last year as a marker comes in.
Ball start. Offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's the right guard, Murray.
Yeah, and I think if Brent Venables pulls that notebook out again, he's just going to write another note. There he goes.
There it is.
I beat you to it, Brent. But I know what you're doing. It's these self-inflicted pre-snap penalties. Don't seem like much, but against an opponent like this, 5 yards before the snap because you flinch, can't have it.
The third false start for Oklahoma. Gabriel, pressure coming from the blind side and more, and he has to toss it out of bounds and not take the sack.
Huge. Huge. Took 7 of them the first 3 weeks, right? You've got to find a way to throw the ball away. It's always easy to say, why doesn't QB throw it away? Well, it's not always that simple. Guys could be running down the field, but you've got to find an escape valve. You've got to find a way to throw it in the 5th row and avoid some of those sacks he's taken earlier.
Jeff Levy says, know where your burns are, where you can burn the football, and he went out of bounds. Second down, 15. Gabriel pump fake. He goes the other way, and this is off the mark. Incomplete. Coverage again for Hayes, and it's 3rd and 15.
Ooh, there's a lot of contact, but Hayes, number 1, is a matchup that the Kansas State group likes right there in the slot. Doesn't really matter who it is. Tries to make a double move, does Mims. And Josh Hayes, playing his 59th game of college football, says, yep, I've seen that one before.
The staff recruited him at North Dakota State. He played there, then transferred to Virginia, and now here at Kansas State. 3rd and 15. Gabriel drops it off for Major, who gets a bunch of it back. So now 4th down and about 5 here. What are you thinking?
How does Brent Venables feel his defense is playing and going to respond? Because to me, I think this dictates the call. I think he likes the effort, the energy, the leveraging here to begin the second half, and this is go zone.
He's talked about incentivizing his coaches. He's talked about keeping the flow going, and now 4th and 5. They will go. Stoops comes in that slot. They are Stoopsing with the substitution. 4th and 5. They didn't get it off.
No, they did not.
Wow.
And what caught him was the late substitution.
Delay game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And once again, pull the notepad out because that was a pre-snap penalty. It was a late substitution and tremendous gamesmanship by K-State. They make the sub, and what does K-State do? They're going to run their biggest, slowest guy on the field to take as long as possible, and they can take as long as if you substitute that late. Savvy gamesmanship.
Brock, that's 7 penalties accepted against Oklahoma in the game. Turks punt. He's put one through the end zone. This one ends up in the end zone again. Kansas State gets it back, trying to pull off a huge upset. Let's take a look at Built for Success, presented by Rocket Mortgage. For the playbook on home loans, Rocket can. 4-time head coach, national champion at FCS level, North Dakota State. Chris Kleiman, his 4th season at Kansas State, 22-17. He brought a lot of his staff with him. Some guys from North Dakota State have played for him here as well. And man, they have done a fantastic job against Oklahoma, specifically in his time.
And a 3-time all-conference player himself at Northern Iowa.
Defensive back. He was reminiscing about an interception against Kansas State he had. Back to that substitution situation.
These are the details, and this is coaching, and you're going to see it right up here at the top. Okay, Oklahoma is going to sub. And once they make this decision with 20 seconds on the play clock to sub right there, look at the top up here. You're going to see these coaches say, D lineman, jog out there. Take your time. Slow down. Take your time.
And it led to the delay of game that turned into the end of the drive. And Deuce Vaughn. There are some Kansas State people here yelling deuce, by the way.
Yep. And by the way, just to play that out, as K-State goes a little bit of tempo here, that D lineman is not required to sprint to the field. He jogs onto the field, takes time on the play clock. That is heads-up coaching.
Martinez, that was tipped. It's incomplete, and it's 2nd down. Martinez had a look down the seam. Stutzman, yeah, Danny Stutzman, the linebacker, got the hand up. Our day in college football started with a Michigan win. We'll see Michigan, Iowa coming up next Saturday. But first, Oklahoma on the ropes.
Can you get Deuce Vaughn the ball in space? I think that'll be critical here in the second half.
Martinez climbing the pocket, throws it out wide. R.J. Garcia, the freshman, takes himself out of bounds, and it's 3rd down and a couple.
I think that's about the 5th time, Jason, you've appropriately said steps up. Steps up into the heat of the fire. Young quarterbacks, they want to flush, especially ones that can run. When you can step up into the pocket, advantage offense.
Great climbing the pocket tonight. Deuce Vaughn got around the first touch from downs, and it's 1st down, Kansas State.
Is that what I'm hearing in the crowd?
It's a deuce chant from the road team.
Well, look at the road graders here on the left side right there. Bam! That is KT Leviston on, once again, a run blitzing Stutzman.
Vaughn just picked up the blitz again to free it up for Martinez, and it's Knowles inside the 30-yard line. What a hit by Vaughn.
Yeah, they all cheer for him when he gets the carries. Harder to see this. Boom! What a pain in the butt for a defender.
Then he engaged him again, Brock.
Yes. What a pain to try to tackle, and then you're going to pass block, and now maybe even an opportunity to spread out and catch it. Actually, he's off, and Giddens, his replacement, in.
He needs a break. Loose for a play. Giddens into the backfield. And here is the freshman Giddens with some room to roam. Finally tackled by Aguebu. And it's first down Kansas State again.
Wow. They have got this Oklahoma front on their heels. A double team on the nose tackle, Jeffrey Johnson. 3 down when Oklahoma goes to it. They run right downhill.
Sheer toughness for Kansas State. That's going nowhere. Second down and 9 because of Deshaun White. Giddens knows big spots. He ran for 216 yards in the Kansas State title game in high school. Vaughn gets a moment for himself.
He's going to be an awesome pro one day. He's already a pro.
Martinez scanning and running, and he is cut down by Jalen Redmond again.
Well, it was Jalen Redmond, but finally Jeffrey Johnson, the nose tackle, defeated a block. I'll say it again. If you want to tackle well, if you're going to leverage, the guys up front have got to defeat blocks. The big fella does there and sets up a 3rd and 8.
Vaughn in motion. Fake it to him. Over the top. Tipped away. Incomplete. Billy Bowman got the hand in. He wanted Wheeler, and it's 4th down.
Boy, that is so good from Bowman. Oh, my gosh. You're going to watch him fly from the back of the end zone here. He sees the route in front of him, and then to not go through the defender. Do you know how hard that is in that moment of truth? To not go through the defender, but be elusive and athletic enough to knock it away. That saves 6 points.
He's played football since age 4, Billy Bowman. Tremendously instinctive play, and the field goal is good for 10. And each team holding the line a little bit more here in the second half. 7-point game. Kansas State, since Oklahoma's last national championship, has flipped the Sooners season more times than Sooners fans would like, and Chris Kleiman has a couple of those wins in 19 and 20 for Kansas State. Half of the program's huge wins have come against Oklahoma.
Why?
They don't make mistakes. They don't hurt themselves, right?
No turnovers tonight. Right? It's been Oklahoma pre-snap, a bunch of penalties that have set them back. So good on special teams. Got to do all the little things right.
Marker comes in. That ball might have sailed out of bounds before it found its way to the end zone.
Kicking team. Ball will be placed at the first.
Tomorrow, huge NFL doubleheader on Fox. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens take on the Patriots and other regional action. Then, America's Game of the Week. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. I don't have to say any more than that. You have to watch. It kicks off tomorrow, 1 Eastern on Fox. Check your local listings for the games in your area.
But who is Tom throwing to?
Not Mike Evans.
No Godwin either. Now, that will be an interesting one, and Aaron's trying to learn his young receivers, just like this guy is as well. Big drive here for Dylan Gabriel.
Gabriel to throw to the sideline. Farouk was just stapled to the coverage man Brents, and somehow that got through. Oklahoma just hasn't seen the football a whole lot, and that, as you said, has been a theme to this season.
Well, it has, but they made so many enormous home run hitting plays to offset that.
Gray again in space, again spinning through Cheatham for a first down.
This is enough's enough here from Metoyer. He's like, okay, I'm sick and tired of this. All right, I'm going to just toss you to the ground, and Udike Uzama, and create some space here. Now sustain a drive. It's been the negative plays. The penalties have really been the only things that have been drive killers for Oklahoma here in the second half.
7 penalties, 3 false starts for the Sooners. Mims in motion. Hard cut the other way. Gabriel throws it to the 30-yard line. Duke was coming in on it.
Yeah, he knows this right away. He's got an unblocked defender. Everything, right? They do 90% of it, Jeff Levy said, is all off of that run, pass, fake. At that time, he knew there was no faking the blitzing Duke, who drills him in the back just as he throws it away.
Out of the backfield, Gray stoops out in front, but man, Duke just broke on through, got through 2 guys, and it's a gain of 1.
And again, you see Duke on the stat sheet. He gets the tackle, and it was awesome. But it was Josh Hayes, number 1, who took on 2 blockers. He's the one that defeats the block, right? That block destruction. He sets it up so Duke can go and finish it. Heads-up play from the 190-pound safety Hayes.
Kansas State loves Josh Hayes, how good he was as a freshman in the FCS title game. They rely on him in that secondary. A lot of Wildcats started in the box. Now Gabriel, tough snap to handle. They'll run it with Major, and that looks like a play they're going to set up to go for it on 4th down.
Here we go again. And it was 4th down. It was a false start that set him back.
They have both plays called, right, in that situation?
No question. Or they know what they're going to get to sequentially.
It's Major out of the backfield. Gabriel the other way. Incomplete for Stoops. Just a little off target for Gabriel, and a turnover on downs.
Yeah, when he misses, and you've seen this tonight, when number 8 misses, it's because there's people in his lap. I mean, this is a gimme. There's a reason they didn't have to think about it. You have 10 yards of cushion. I mean, you've got to hit that 99 of 100 times, but when he misses, do you see that contact around him?
Yep.
Yeah, right here. That face kind of says it all. Like, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
And how that happened is a little bit of that body pressure. Stoops frustrated. Should be. Had a slant and go for a touchdown. Sets that up perfectly. Gives his QB his numbers, and that little pressure in his face causes the misfire.
Injured player is Felix Anudike Uzama, a tremendous pass rusher for Kansas State.
Look at him breathing, man. These Wildcats expend, in this matchup in particular, every bit of energy as they're working on his ankle, lower leg.
He has given so much along with the rest of that defensive line tonight. He had a game with 4 sacks last year against TCU. And he is now up and jogging off the field with a stop in tow for his defense.
And I loved what his D coordinator said about him, Joe Klanderman, when it came to Felix. And it's just, yeah, he had all the production last year, but it's the stuff that doesn't show up, like that one, right, where he hits a gap, allows Duke to come behind him and create just enough contact. The game slows down, not just for quarterbacks, we talk about all the time, but for those defensive linemen as well, helping their buddies out.
Now Adrian Martinez and Deuce Vaughn back to the steering wheel with 16 minutes to go, and a marker comes in.
False start. Offense number 55. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
The center, Gillum. Martinez goes to him, taps him on the head. Vaughn in the slot at the top of your screen. Martinez dumps it off. He's got Warner. That's 2nd down coming up. Gain of 8, 2nd and 7.
That gets you back on schedule. This just feels like Deuce Vaughn time, doesn't it? Final 15 minutes, 50 seconds in this building. A matchup the 22 feasts upon as well.
He's touching the ball right here. No, he's not. Outside for Brooks. And Brooks hemmed in by Bowman, but not directly to the sideline, and he turned it upfield.
Yeah, if you just compare and contrast Hayes on that previous possession defensively, right, turning everything back in. That time you need the same effort, and you don't. Brooks beats that tackle. And it may not look like a lot, but the difference between 3rd and 4, 3rd and 8, monumental with what you can do, including QB run.
He's done it 16 times tonight. He'll run behind Warner. Martinez his stuff. Key Lawrence filled the hole. Aguebu as well.
That's the end of the third
So
quarter.
many memories in this rivalry in recent history. So many Wildcats in the way of Sooner runs to a title. It's a 7-point game after 3. Welcome back to Fox College Football, sponsored by Ram Trucks, built to serve. It's got to be the world's largest Phil Collins-based light show. Can you feel it coming in the air tonight?
Well, we've jumped around, we've shouted, and now we've done the light show.
We are here, Brock and Benetti, for third quarter fun with Allison down right in the middle of it, enjoying all of it. Close range in a rivalry game that once again that has done anything but disappoint.
You see a little smile, a little smirk on Adrian Martinez's face. He's looking around too like, man, this is what it's all about. This is college football.
Last time Kansas State was here, there were about 20,000 people in the stands in 2020. And man, it is so great to be in these places with all this camaraderie, and even the visiting fans sneaking in a deuce cheer a couple of times in the third quarter. Mims to receive Zentner's punt. Mims approaches, lets it bounce, and this is right on the goal line, and it got in the end zone for a touchback. I mean, by a hair.
Let's go. Hey, let's go.
So close. So now Oklahoma embarks from the 20-yard line. Dylan Gabriel, 14 of 23, a career 60+% passer, has not been terribly accurate
When
at
their
points
hip
tonight.
body's been around him, that accuracy has dropped dramatically. When he's had a clean pocket, he's hit his shots.
Willis in motion, Gray the run, hitting the hole hard and getting spun down by Nick Allen, the reserve linebacker, on a gain of 5.
And you know what the mindset is for Kansas State. Make them earn it. Make them go to the long field. See if they can put a drive together, convert fourth downs, convert third downs, not have those pre-snap penalties. Try to keep everything in front of you if you're Kansas State.
Gray again hopping into the run, and he's met by Savage. His defensive coordinator, Joe Klanderman, loves the last name because he thinks it's fitting.
Well, these are the one-on-one tackles. I mean, this is just man-on-man. It's not coverage, but it might as well be just in the open field. We've seen the jukes of Deuce Vaughn leave guys grasping for air. Not the case with Kobe Savage.
Third and 3, Oklahoma. Gabriel, short set. Nice try on the close there by Boydo, but it does get through to Farouk and a first down.
How did he catch that? This is all about getting your body. You can see what's coming. Boydo knows it. Short passing game, and my goodness gracious, is that a tremendous effort to go through the DB. You cannot let the DB go through you and get that interception. Well done by the young sophomore.
It was a hard close by Boydo, and he still didn't come up with the ball. Gabriel wants to throw. Instead, he's hit. He keeps his feet. He finds a crease. Dylan Gabriel slides just outside of the 40. That started to look like last week in Lincoln.
I think he finally says enough. If the other guy is going to do it and create when things break down, I can do it too. A chunk play on the ground from number 8.
26-yard run and movement by the left side of the line. Matoyer and Harrison.
False start. Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And that's number 4. And we've seen it from everybody. Braden Willis, Wanye Morris, Chris Murray. That time the left side of the line. I mean, they've all taken their turns. And when you play at home, you never, ever expect 4 pre-snap false start penalties.
Gray really gotten fully into its tempo tonight.
All those setbacks are a big part of it. Right? You see Cheatham being tended to. Lots of collisions down the alley in this run game. But hard to get efficiency, hard to get tempo going when it's 5 yards backwards, 5 yards backwards, 5 yards backwards. Drive killers.
Oklahoma driving right now. Cheatham is injured. We'll step aside. 7-point game in Norman. Top 10 Oklahoma on the ropes again. Fox College Football is sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years. 7 Heisman trophies in the Switzer Center here at Oklahoma. Quarterback U recently, Jason White 03, Sam Bradford, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Dylan Gabriel trying to make sure to keep these guys unbeaten so far this year in the Big 12 opener for Oklahoma.
You know, a word I'm looking at on my board here, strain. And Venables said it to us. Every coach on the staff said it to us. This matchup is going to be about strain, mentally, physically, for 4 quarters. That's just the opponent. That's what you're going to get no matter what happened the week before. When these two tangle, it is a 60-minute strain.
Again, he wakes up to win, he says. It's 6 a.m. pickup basketball. I want to win. But strain for him is giving everything you have to whatever job you have. And the job is a comeback right now. Gabriel drops it off for Gray. 3 guys meet him, and eventually it is Allen. Savage got the first touch, and it's 3rd down and 9.
And it's 3rd and 9 because of that false start. So much more difficult against an opponent that doesn't give you an inch to convert 3rd and 9s and 3rd and 4.
Jeff Levy discussed that in terms of sacks. It hasn't been sacks tonight. It's been penalties to put them behind. Stoops was on the move. Gabriel to throw. That's a laser, and it's too high and incomplete for Marvin Mims, who was in space, Brock.
And he had him, and it's a difficult throw. This is a zone defense. There's 3 defenders. You can see the corner 23, Brent. He's looking right at him. He's a pterodactyl. He's 6'4" with arms forever. So I know that Gabriel's thinking, I can't throw it in 23's vicinity, but he's just not giving his guys enough catchable passes.
It's Savage coming over the top as well, and another flag comes in.
False start. Offense number 17. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
More notes for Brent Venables.
Yeah, what he is seeing is these 3rd and 9 situations. That was a little zone, right? Little two men into 3 defenders. Kansas State passes it off beautifully. There's 1 window to hit. And unfortunately, Dylan not in rhythm tonight.
16 for 26. Brooks lets it go and through the end zone. That was playable for Oklahoma down at the goal line. Deuce Vaughn, so tough to tackle, Brock.
It's just, if he's on your side, he's the most lovable competitor you could ever have. You pick him first on the playground because look at the juke moves, the jump cuts. I mean, he is just so painful. If you're on the other side and you're one of these 5, 6, 7 defenders, he's the biggest pest you've ever played, and you really don't want to match up with him again, right? Because on paper, he's 5'6" and 170 pounds. On the field, he embarrasses you.
He played flag football through 7th grade. Imagine trying to pull a flag from his waist.
No thanks.
Good luck to you. How many possessions left in this game? Oh, man, he squeezed through and got by another 2 for a 1st down run of 15. He went sideways.
Those are the 2 best defenders. It is the Cheetah and it's Billy Bowman. I mean, goodness.
He just slices you with his agility. Martinez on target, sin it again. his 4th grab, and a gain of 21.
And this might be Adrian's best throw of the night. He does this right through a defender. Just a vertical route, beating zone coverage in front of the safeties, behind the linebackers, but to do it through contact.
Shimmy from Deuce Vaughn. There's a little Louis Tiant in there too, you know, give you the shoulder every once in a while, give you the lower body. Stutzman dropped him that time, no gain.
Can you imagine him in a boxing ring too?
Oh. You have him in the corner and then he dives around you.
He constantly gains leverage.
The word Brent Venables used at halftime with Allison.
Martinez is looking at a blitz look here from Oklahoma. Defenders in the gaps.
Stutzman up at the line. He backs off. Martinez a pump. Martinez gets out of the pocket. Aguebu chasing him. Martinez turns it upfield for Brooks. Oh, wow, what a play.
Who is number 9 in this uniform tonight?
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
They get Duffy for being downfield, the right tackle.
That is the right call, but man, that is so hard on Christian Duffy. He's right here. And the threshold is about 3.5 yards. And you're going to see as the scramble occurs, you just got to stand right there. 73, stand right there. Instead, he's watching the play, drifting downfield. And he is a good 4 yards downfield on the superhuman effort from Martinez.
By the letter of the law, the right call. Now Martinez reaching back for the sideline, incomplete, and now a marker comes in against Broyles, maybe.
And there's your difference. He wasn't making this throw last week, and this is about the 4th time he's thrown it Cade Warner's way.
Pass interference. Defense number 25. 15-yard penalty. Automatic 1st down.
You have to believe he was overcorrecting after the mistakes at Nebraska. Adrian Martinez.
Well, there is no question that scar tissue is real, and that penalty's real. They don't like it, but underthrown balls, we see this all the time. If the receiver's coming back, you don't turn around. In Broyles' case, you go through the receiver. That penalty comes out. And Brent Venables knew, though. He knew we were going to see a different Adrian Martinez tonight. He knows the kind of competitor that number 9 is. And we're seeing it on full display.
Vaughn gets ripped down by Isaiah Coe for a tackle for loss, which has not been part of the day tonight for Oklahoma.
Now, one of the rare tackles for loss for the number 1 team in the country. But all those turnovers, all that experience in Nebraska, play smart, not scared. You got to play smart, but you cannot ever play this position scared to make a mistake. He did that the first 3 weeks. He's not doing it tonight.
He said while he was at Nebraska and just after he transferred, it takes a lot to be the guy. It's not for everybody. He's the guy tonight at Oklahoma. Martinez flutters it over the middle for Warner to the 20-yard line.
But what did he do once again? Did he run to his right?
Climb the pocket.
Did he run to his left? Did he run into trouble? He climbed the pocket and giving his guys opportunities on the other end.
It's Brooks in space, and he gets about 4.5. Under 9 to go here in Norman.
You know what else they're not doing?
What's
Ball
that?
start.
Yep.
Ball start. Set yourself back. I mean, the man downfield was a critical penalty. Did Adrian Martinez flinch? Nope. Responded.
He's been stoic all night, just visually. Second and 5, quick swing out. That's dropped by Brooks. It's a forward pass. It's 3rd down and 5. Drop number 5. Brock.
That was a big one, too. Play the game at this point. There's going to be bigger moments in the next 8 minutes. But the difference between 7 and settling for a field goal right now, enormous.
Embedded purple in a loud sea of crimson. Martinez kept it himself. Great decision. Touchdown.
Wow. Guts. That's what I got to say about that. Pure guts. When you ride the mesh this long and you put 33 Stripling, the edge defender, in that burden right there. That burden, and then watch the block coming through by Sinnott as well. But the guts it takes in that moment of truth. Am I going to give it? Am I going to pull it? I may get blasted, but I'll take that risk. And boy, does it pay off in a huge reward.
For Chris Kleiman as a teacher, as somebody to develop players, the score is great. But Adrian Martinez playing this free and easy is a big bonus. K-State by 14 to the shock of the folks here in Norman. That young man took so much flack at Nebraska, some of it rightfully so, but he felt it. He felt it across his body and in his mind, and he's talked about how tough it was. But Adrian Martinez has come in here to Norman and played as loose as can be.
There's 8 minutes left, man, but as I'm getting older, my eyes are failing, my hair's receding. I love redemption stories more than ever. And this is quite a story he's written through 52 minutes.
Bo Nix earlier today and last week. Adrian Martinez, and how about that last drive?
It was just phenomenal. It was from the pocket. That was through contact. People in his face. He stands and delivers. He's climbing the pocket. Right, that ball's a little wobbly. It's tipped. Not the most beautiful throw ever, but he's giving this guy a chance. And then right there in the moment of truth. Biggest third down to this point in the game. He rides that mesh. He freezes Stripling the defensive end, and then the explosiveness to finish.
Now the question that arises is, what does Dylan Gabriel have? Down 2 scores. He uncorks for the sideline, and Farouk high points it inside the 45. What a jumping grab.
What does he have? He has the best deep ball to the perimeter. Don't throw it up the seam. Don't throw it on the corner. Just let him throw. When you get one-on-ones, let him throw those go routes outside.
Oklahoma known for quick touchdown drives. Under pressure this time, and he gets it to the near side in Theo Weiss.
Well, I talked about courage with Adrian Martinez. This takes courage too. Here comes Khalid Duke right in your face. Stand and deliver.
On a gain of 7, the run from Major, changing direction, and he's very close to the line to gain.
I'd like to say you don't have to get it all back in one shot, but that's Oklahoma's DNA.
Major's hurt, by the way. Yeah, that's how they've scored. 56-yard touchdown, 50-yard touchdown.
They don't play small ball.
They're the play signalers and the concealers over on the sideline.
My favorites.
3rd down and 1. Gray is in. Man, he hit the hole too. He's done that all night long.
This is where as a QB too, just concentrate, focus guys, don't go backwards. Hold your water up front, stay on schedule, and the opportunities will come.
On 1st down, Gabriel. He's pressured. Moore was in there first. Jalen Pickle closed the deal.
Throw it away. Where can I burn it? Okay, they're coming. My first read's not open. Slide and burn it. Slide and burn it. Cannot take negative plays.
First sack tonight and a crucial one for Gabriel. Back to the 37. Pump fake. Now he goes sideline. Willis, the tight end, has been quiet in the pass game tonight. He's got a 1st down here.
Oh, they love this concept. You see this in the system all the time. Just you fake the little screen, the little swing route, and the 2 vertical switch releases off of it. That was a great hole shot.
Moving down to 5 minutes left. Nearly 900 yards in the game. Gabriel running. Weaving outside. Gabriel sideline! And he's out of bounds at the 1. Little word for Brent's on the way back.
Yeah, and a little word with his hand to the face of Kobe Savage in the open field right here, too. I got you, just like Adrian Martinez is getting my guys on the other side.
Quickly to the line. Gabriel wants the end zone. He's hugged, and he is dropped. That's Purnell, the freshman, 2nd and goal, clock moving.
And these are 20 to 30 big seconds. Even if they go in and score, remember that stop right there at 5:08. Valuable time in a 2-possession game. Stuffing the QB sneak.
It's going to be more than 25 seconds coming off the clock because of that stop. High snap. Gabriel has to release it. Oh, what a catch by Willis. There's a marker down. Let's see.
I think they're having a conversation of if that was a pick play, but I believe that ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage. I think that's the conversation they're having right now. What an unbelievable job to get the ball out of his hands. Taking a lot of time. That's the right thing to do.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference. The ball was caught behind the line. The result of the play is a touchdown.
Great call, Brock. Good call by this officiating crew. Touchdown, Willis.
You get it right. You all convene, you get together. You're going to see the block down here. Okay, if this ball is thrown in front, it is a pick play all the way, but it's clearly behind the line of scrimmage. And I talked about the courage of Martinez on the other side. That's guts, too.
Kobe Savage rammed him into the ground. 4:36 to go in Norman. These two teams just can't quit each other.
I do this game every year.
I come to 7-point game.
When I was a young kid living in the city, all I did was
2 wins the last 3 times they've played for Kansas State, but Oklahoma's on the comeback trail. 9 plays, 75 yards, and a connection that looked absolutely dead in the water from Gabriel to Willis that somehow they made work.
You want strain, Brent Venables. This is strain. This is 60-minute football.
Knowles lets it go. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life Games Summary, sponsored by Pacific Life, creating financial security for more than 150 years.
Can I just say great game? Outstanding game?
We got to watch some of it.
Just a back-and-forth game of 2 quarterbacks. Adrian Martinez and Deuce Vaughn really the show on this side of it. Just making enormous plays when their number is called. And it does, man. It takes courage to play this position. Courage to overcome adversity, negative plays, and courage to deliver when the moment gets the brightest.
Like right now. Quick hit, Brooks. At the fringe, Brooks is out of bounds at 4:30.
Oklahoma is throwing the artillery at the line of scrimmage. That's why you're seeing these little bubble screens. Stutzman, Owebu, look at them. They were expending everything, and you could see the amount of yards, the amount of plays, the amount of collisions they've been in tonight. A concerted effort here, I think, down the stretch to make somebody not named Deuce Vaughn or Adrian Martinez beat you.
3 timeouts for both teams. 4 minutes to go. Martinez for Brooks the other way. Hit initially by White, kept his feet, and a flag in. Looks like a face mask coming.
Personal foul, face mask. Defense number 5, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's been the 2 most influential players, and those numbers that we just showed you through the first 3 games, an obvious face mask by Bowman. but it was Deshaun White who can't wrap. He can't finish. And because of it, Bowman's flying over. He's out of position. Missed tackles in the open field. 3 minutes and 44 seconds. K-State keeps breaking them, they win. OU makes them, they give themselves an opportunity.
11 penalties looming large for Oklahoma tonight. Martinez knows how to work a play clock down to 5. It's Vaughn, and it's Redmond again, just MMAing him down on a tackle for loss.
I think they're a little frustrated with the flyweight that has embarrassed many of these heavyweights between the tackles. I'll tell them, once again, there comes your linebacker blitzes. There comes White. They are going to throw more numbers at the line of scrimmage than there are blockers. Can you hit a one-on-one on the perimeter?
How aggressive will the quarterback they asked to be aggressive be in this spot? And that didn't look good the whole way.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Duffy, his second penalty.
Yeah, part of the reason they've been unbeaten 15 of the last 23 years in this building is 80,000 know when they can play a role too.
Vaughn can't sneak by this time, no gain. Oklahoma with 3 timeouts, and they will use one right here. 2:37 to play in Norman. 11 losses here since 1999. Will it be another one? We'll find out. Fox College Football is sponsored by Progressive. One thing no one would ever challenge: protecting your home and car with Progressive. Every year, K-State and Oklahoma down to the wire. This is a series that featured 7 shutouts in 8 years back in the 1930s and 40s. It's basically all Oklahoma, but recently Kansas State has been thorny for Oklahoma.
Got to push this ball down the field. Not time to be conservative.
Oklahoma scores fast anyway. 3rd and 16 for Martinez. Didn't have time to throw it down the field. He runs instead. Martinez has the first down. Adrian Martinez. Unreal effort tonight for Kansas State. They wanted aggressive. Here it is.
Are you kidding me? Did that just happen on 3rd and forever? How? And look at the effort down the field of his buddies, man, elevating the confidence and belief of everyone. I said push it down the field. Don't push it down the field. Push on the accelerator, number 9. Holy smokes.
They drove 4.5 hours for this. They would have driven 12 hours for this. Martinez wants the end zone for the 4th time on the ground. Stutzman stopped him. Timeout Oklahoma. They'll have 1 remaining.
Timeout Oklahoma. Their second and a half.
Next week starts Saturday strong. Big Noon Saturday on Fox. Number 4 Michigan with a win today against Maryland. They'll be at Iowa, starting with Big Noon kickoff live from Iowa City, 10 a.m. Eastern, then Michigan, Iowa at noon on Fox. So now, Brock, because we watched the Browns play in the NFL last week, Do you punch it in the end zone? How do you deal with this? There's one timeout remaining. It's not the same situation, but you'd love to have some time off the clock, right?
No, you just run your best plays, period, end of story, against that guy. Yeah, I don't get cute whatsoever. This is not the NFL. It is a totally different game in this building. And for that guy right there, that third down and forever is going to be incredible teaching tape. Because it's everything that he's preached them not, like, just get off blocks. That's not who they have been this entire month of September. That is not the team that's turned college football and a lot of us to go, wow, are they playing elite defense? That was the toughest kind of teaching tape there is.
She don't want to hear that, but
sorry.
Two minutes flat for Adrian Martinez, the Nebraska transplant. Martinez again finds a space. Another touchdown and a bow from Martinez.
What was that play called that Colin Klein ran?
It was QB 25 F Rumble O 10 years ago.
Well, there you go. Bill Snyder, write me a note. Let me know if that's not that play, because I think it is. I think it is. And take a bow, young man. You have played the game of your life.
Colin Klein told us his roommate from college still reminds him that he was untouched on that play you're talking about 10 years ago. And Adrian Martinez just had Groundhog Day in Norman for his offensive coordinator.
I kid you not. And you can see the fist bump right there. One more time on the play call, please.
It is QB 25 F Rumble O.
I'm pretty sure that is the play call. And I'm pretty sure he was untouched. But that doesn't happen unless this 3rd and 16. They were 1 for 19 on 3rd and 7+ coming into tonight. A little line game by Oklahoma. They can't get off one block. Billy Bowman takes a poor angle. The cheetah Deshaun White takes a poor angle. Holy cow. Brent Venables' words to Allison at halftime about leveraging, and we're not leveraging. And oh, by the way, slide and bounce. Was he touched?
Only by his offensive line, I think.
That is eerie.
History repeats itself in this game so often, but rarely that directly.
And Chris Kleiman, I liked his point to you this week too. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not going backwards with Adrian Martinez. I'm only going forward with him and asking him to be who we have seen in August and September on the practice field. And for the first time, and the most important time, he's doing it tonight.
One timeout for Oklahoma, a minute 58.
And if you're Dylan Gabriel right now, it is go time. Period, end of story. If you're the guys up front, you got to pick up some stunts.
If you're Klanderman, how do you play this defensively for Kansas State?
You have got to drop 8 and you've got to communicate. You can give Dylan Gabriel time to pat the ball and throw it underneath and rally and tackle, but you will not play man-to-man press coverage, in my opinion, in these moments.
3 guys back at the 37-yard line. Gabriel over the middle. Marvin Mims catch and run, sliding down at the 41. Dylan Gabriel drops it off. Gray hustles out of bounds. Gain of 1, maybe. 100 seconds for Oklahoma's unbeaten season.
41 points allowed tonight. 510 yards from an offense that could do largely nothing other than Deuce Vaughn the first 3 weeks of the season.
10 points against Tulane last week for Kansas State. Gabriel in open air across the 50. That takes 8 seconds off the clock, $1:32.
That's what you have to do. Just keep taking it, keep taking 10 yards, keep taking 15 yards, and ultimately hope to get to an onside kick if you can punch this in.
Gabriel into traffic. He threaded it through for the tight end Willis. The one timeout doesn't allow you to get a stop. It would have to be an onside kick, as you said.
10 yards on the play.
Under a minute 20. To the outside for Willis, and he is trucked. Julius Brent sized him up perfectly, and that's inbounds, by the way. Wow. Now the clock was moving. The ball ended up out of bounds. They're going to wave that off and call it incomplete, but the clock was running. So they played it like it was fumbled out of bounds. It's a minute 5, but they're going to have to re-administer the clock.
And they can do that under 2 minutes, and they will work to get this right.
Brents is hurt. So we'll watch where the clock was when that ball fell, eventually incomplete. Looked like
the result of the play was a catch and a fumble forward.
Yeah.
The ball will be brought back to the spot of the fumble. The clock will start on my ready.
So there was one signal of incomplete. The initial call was a fumble out of bounds, and they talk it over and end up with the fumble out of bounds.
The previous play is under further review.
Yeah, now they're going to review it. After they discussed it, they're going to review it with a minute 5. It looked to me like he caught the ball and made a move upfield. How about you?
Yeah, I think that was a fumble. So now it's the administration of when, how much time, and every second matters.
Dean Blandino in Los Angeles. Dean, what do you see here?
Yeah, I'm looking at control, and then he's going to get both feet down and turn, and that's the key, that turn. He's completing that time element. So to me, this is a catch, and then we have a fumble, and the ball goes out of bounds, and they're looking at that part of it as well. And you can see the Kansas State player did not recover it inbounds. So we have a forward fumble out of bounds, comes back to the spot of the fumble, and just like they announced, the referee announced, the clock will start on the ready for play.
Dean, thank you very much.
Remember those 30 seconds on that stuffed QB sneak?
Yep.
I know that Brent Venables will remember every one of these moments. And there's a reason Chris Kleinman has beaten this program 2 times on the precipice of doing it 3 times in 4 years. They don't beat themselves. I mean, those were the words out of Brent Venables. You got to go take it from them. And tonight, the Wildcats, in the critical moments, have taken this game over. Namely, Deuce Vaughn and Adrian Martinez in a group defensive effort that has done just enough to capitalize on some of the self-inflicted pre-snap mistakes of the Sooners.
After further review, it was an incomplete pass. It'll be second down on the 37-yard line.
So they're going to say,
operator, please put the game clock to 1:16.
1:16, and evidently there was enough of a juggle on the right side as he was catching the ball to call it incomplete. So we got a little bit of a mixed message, and then they land on incomplete. So 2nd and 10 with 1:16.
So a lot of marks on that helmet of Braden Willis tonight. Man, this has been a physical affair.
The equipment folks will have to buff that out during the week. 2nd and 10. Dylan Gabriel to throw off the check down. He's got Gray, and Gray runs to the outside to get out of bounds with a minute 10. So that incompletion actually worked out okay for Oklahoma.
That's one of the rare times where K-State breaks down. Gray does a little Deuce Vaughn himself, breaking the leverage and containment of 2 Wildcats.
This one is tipped at the line and batted down. 2nd down coming up. Sayamalo, big old 99, takes care of that one.
Big old 340-pounder.
Somebody just yelled, "Finish it," downstairs, and that's what Joe Klanderman hopes to do, the defensive coordinator. Gabriel gets out of the pocket, turns upfield. and totes it out of bounds. Under a minute to go. Kansas State just sort of fading back into that cushion.
Time becomes a little more important here. They've saved the one timeout. They've operated quickly. This is just their MO. None of this is out of character whatsoever. But you got to score here in the next 15 to 30 seconds to give yourself a chance if you were to recover that onside kick.
Kansas State rushes 3. It's batted down again by Sayamalo.
Pad that stat sheet, big man. Pad it.
Kembe Mutombo down there.
If you can't get home, get your hands up.
So now the down marker's an issue. They will run and get the first down, make sure the drive's alive. 50 seconds to go for Gray.
You got to get right to that line. Every one of these seconds so precious.
Still the one timeout. 45 seconds. Gabriel again right up the middle for Gray, who's shook by 1. Maybe the timeout here. Yep. The Adrian Martinez redemption tour of the Big 12 from Nebraska looks like it starts here.
Yeah, nearly 380 yards of total offense himself tonight. He did it with his arm. He did it with his legs. I love the hand plant touchdown there. This was the guts and the courage to ride that mesh point on 3rd and 6. And this is truly the remarkable. And if you're an Oklahoma fan, that's inconceivable on 3rd and 16. And if you're a K-State fan, you're saying to yourself, my goodness gracious, this is the best version of Adrian Martinez we have ever seen. Not just this year. Now, he did a lot of this last year, wearing a Nebraska uniform against these Sooners, but not like this.
No, the Big Ten beat him up. And Adrian Martinez, all those close losses. I mean, we had Nebraska in their opener. All those close losses that weighed on Scott Frost and had the coaching change there, they weighed on him too.
Yeah. You know, there's 2 guys I'm thinking about tonight a little bit watching this. Scott Frost, Mario Verduzco. His QB coach at Nebraska for all of those years. Scott Frost, who loved that kid, who recruited that kid, who went through so much of the roller coaster and the turnovers and everything else. I'm curious what they're thinking watching this kind of effort tonight.
Got to be some pride in there. 2nd down, Dylan Gabriel on the throw to the end zone, and that is an Oklahoma touchdown for Willis. His 2nd, and it's still alive for the Sooners.
I don't think there was any doubt that they were going to drive down this field, right? When they have not been their own enemy, they've been pretty darn efficient. This is a beautiful corner route. Can't throw it any better to a better spot. And now with this PAT, you give yourself a chance for an onside kick. And in this matchup, who knows?
We have seen strange things in college football all day long in the special teams. Call it 35 seconds. And Schmidt for the extra point. It is good. Adrian Martinez hopes that the next time he touches the football, he'll take a knee and he'll go home 4.5 hours to Manhattan, Kansas.
And Brent Venables hopes that you play to every last tick on the clock. You never doubt. You strain for every last moment. And you get this onside kick and do not give engine number 9, another chance.
We saw Texas lose earlier today in Lubbock. The Big 12 is completely up for grabs. If Oklahoma takes a loss here, number 6 Oklahoma down 7 with an onside kick holding its fate. Brent Venables limbering up for what could be the last pivotal moment tonight. take it. Here we go. Onside kick on the move, and it is recovered by Kansas State. And it's Warner down to the ground, the wide receiver, to say farewell to the undefeated Sooners, who are no more.
This ball had some funky little spin on it, didn't it? You see it take a little kick there. Cade Warner does everything right. He doesn't wait for it. He goes and gets it. And that has got to be some kind of sweet redemption right there.
Again, the guys in purple from Manhattan make their way to Norman.
They play this game. They were a dark horse contender before this season began. Add them to Oklahoma State, Baylor, Oklahoma, Texas. Your guess is good of mine in this Big 12 play this season. There's a bunch of them capable of winning this conference.
We will watch that path, that labyrinth all season long. But Kansas State behind Adrian Martinez, who lost so many games by one score at Nebraska. He shows up. They lose to Tulane last week. And Martinez did everything asked of him. Dylan Gabriel takes his first loss at Oklahoma. But Chris Kleiman has another signature win at the hands of the Sooners, 41-34. Adrian Martinez with Allison Williams.
Thank you guys very much. Adrian, all week your coaches asked you to be aggressive, to let it rip. How were you able to deliver on that tonight?
Yeah, just ultimate confidence in my teammates. A lot of people believing in me back home. A lot of people believing in me on this team, and I felt like I kind of let them down last week. Wanted to come into this week with a mindset of just letting it rip and playing with my heart on the line.
What allowed this offense to be so effective tonight, over 500 yards against this defense?
I think, again, we realized we struggled last week and wasn't close to what we're capable of. We wanted to come out here and we had something to prove, you know, and I think we know how good of a team we can be. I think we showed a little bit of that tonight.
Late in the fourth, 3rd and 16, and you break off that run. I swear I saw you smiling as you were running down the sidelines. What was going through your mind then?
Let's win this game. Gonna have to take it. You know, it wasn't gonna be given to us. We couldn't hope for, you know, let's run the clock a little bit more. They take a timeout. Our defense stops them. So let's go take this thing. So just proud that Crease was there. Guys believed in me, and I was able to make it happen tonight.
I know this is your first time facing Oklahoma in this uniform, but Kansas State has now won 3 of the last 4 against them. What is it about facing this team that brings out the best in the Wildcats?
You know, I can only speak to our program, and you know, I'm really proud to be a Wildcat. I think our culture is special. I think Coach Kleiman and just the stuff we're building here, it's different. You know, and I think we come and play with an edge every game.
Adrian, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Jason?
Just go and take it, huh?
Go and take it. And this was the play. This was 3rd and 16. These are the longest odds you can have as an offense in a group that hadn't done it at all in the month of September until the lights, and these lights are bright in the stadium, and when they got bright, number 9 shone the brightest.
A smile down the sideline for Adrian Martinez. All he's done is win this evening in Oklahoma. And Deuce's footwork is loose. More post-game coverage right after these messages from Norman.